Good evening, everybody. Welcome. I'm going to get started shortly. If it gets too hot in here, officers, we can open the doors. Okay. Everybody comfortable? We okay? Okay, good. All right, we're going to call the special meeting to order. As soon as Vinny queues up.
We're ready.
Okay, we have the roll call, please.
Sure. Deputy Mayor Chera.
Here.
Council members Long.
Here.
Napolitani.
Here.
Shephaka.
Here.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Here, everybody please rise for a pledge of allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silent prayer thereafter. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press Coaster, filed in Town Hall in the office of the Municipal Clerk, December 29, 2016. We're going to open up with a format here. We're going to do a little slideshow presentation. It'll be short, but maybe this will give you some information to start out with. So we're going to have our friend Steve here, Steve Gallagher, do that for us. After he's done with his presentation, we can open it up for questions. You're allowed to come on up. We'll come down. We'll have a microphone for you. Just be mindful that there's a lot of folks here, and they probably have a lot of questions. And if you can just be courteous enough to have your thoughts all gathered up, because you're going to get one bite of the apple here, and we're going to ask you to kind of limit it if you can. We'll try to get through all your questions, of course. And after that, if you have it there and if you're still confused, we're going to invite you up one at a time after the meeting if you want to come up, and we'll calculate what your new tax bill is actually going to be. Because this quarter, of course, was very confusing. Absolutely, we could have done a better job of getting more information in that bill to really explain to you what was in there. And, I'll take blame for that one, for not overlooking it before it went out. But nonetheless, the bill was... it had people perplexed, and they're multiplying their third quarter bill by 4 and coming up with this enormous number that's really not true. But nonetheless, 4,702 folks actually had a tax decrease, but they're not here tonight. I don't see any of them here. No friends, no. And, the balance did either go up 10, 20, 14, 15%. So our threshold really was about 14.5%. You'll see that on the slide. Anybody whose value... a couple drivers here was the robust real estate market drove the value of your homes up. In my business, typically that's not a bad thing to tell people, but when it comes to taxes, it's not a good thing to tell people either. And, we have our friends here from the school board, Jim Stefankowitz, and we have Jim Dietrich, the president of the board, and they'll be able to answer some questions for you at the end as well. There are some impacts based on the Lock Arbor situation as well that was unforeseen, that came down to us. So a lot of that's built into your third quarter bill. So momentarily I'm going to turn it over to Steve. At this time, I'm just going to ask folks, if you have a cell phone on, please turn off the volume. If you need to make a call, kindly go out into the hallway. You can make that call. If you want to keep it on for anything else, that's fine. Okay, everybody good? Everybody comfortable? Can you hear okay back there? Okay. All right. Well, I wish we had more seats, but I think we'll be okay here. And like I said, the officers can open the doors so folks can kind of be comfortable standing in the hall if they'd like to. If you want to get this second door, officer, thank you. That way folks can kind of hang there and listen up. Okay. Okay. Mr. Gallagher, if you want to start your presentation, there are 2 screens, one right behind...
Please don't stand in front of the screen.
If you can help it. Yep, if you can help that, that'll be great. And then there's also one on the wall here to my left.
You can stand in front of us also to look at the screen.
That's good.
Yeah.
There we go. Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you can stand up in front here. That's fine. Wherever you have to go to sit. Okay. Okay, we're going to get started with the slide presentation. As I said, just kindly hold your questions until the end. That would be great. I appreciate that. Thank you all.
Okay, everybody can hear me okay? All right, great. All right. This is a presentation about the third quarter estimated tax billing, the impact of the tax revaluation that we underwent in 2016 for the 2017 tax year, and the reason behind the estimated tax bill, which is the Lock Arbor issue, which is still outstanding.
Upstairs.
Okay, we want to address the following. We're going to try to answer your questions. We want to answer why the estimated third quarter 2017 tax bills were required. Okay, and basically it has to deal with that Lock Arbor issue did not allow the township's tax rate to be certified by the county. Without that, we weren't able to send out tax bills, and unfortunately, we need that tax revenue for the third quarter for cash flow. We have enough money to run us to first couple of weeks of August, and then we would have to issue tax anticipation notes, which I swore I would never do in my professional career, because we're paying interest on money that we're using to operate, and I think that's not a financially sound way to operate. The impact of the 2016 property tax revaluation effective for 2017 on individual property tax assessments. We also want to address what most people are doing in the phone calls that I've been taking. People are confusing their third quarter tax bill as a quarter of their 2017 taxes. If you're doing that, you're calculating it incorrectly, and you're scaring yourself, because the tax bill is not going to be that high. If you're looking at that bill, I've had people who've looked at it, they estimated several $1,000s more than what it's actually going to be. And the same thing with looking at the third quarter tax bill, comparing it to the first and second quarter of 2017, and thinking that the difference there is their new annual increase per quarter, and that's not correct either. And the thing that I really want to emphasize is that the first and second quarter taxes for 2017 are really 1/4 of the 2016 taxes paid. Now, the problem with that is that it doesn't take into any effect what any new taxes might be, any kind of issues like the Lock Arbor issue, as impacting the overall 2017 taxes. It also doesn't include things like the effect of the tax revaluation on individual property owners. The impact of Lock Arbor, okay? The Lock Arbor litigation is ongoing. They want to pull out of the school district, and the thing is that that's going to have a significant impact on Ocean Township taxpayers. Now, we had a debate whether we wanted to include it or not to include it, but I decided that it would be better to go to the conservative route and include it for the third quarter taxes, rather than have the entire effect hit the fourth quarter taxes, which would actually probably double the size of the people in this room if that were to occur. We were very conservative in coming up with our estimate for the third quarter. The Lock Arbor represents a little over $2 million of the total school tax levy, $2,592,592. The impact of the loss of Lock Arbor tax revenue on the average taxpayer, okay, is $189 on a home assessed at $455,456. And the impact of the Lock Arbor loss, like I said, is built into the third quarter estimated tax bill, and it reflects the worst case scenario. So if Ocean Township prevails, then you should see a reduction in your fourth quarter when we actually have the final certified rates. The total annual cost of Lock Arbor is captured in the second half of 2017. Like I said, the first 2 quarters of 2017 are based on 2016 taxes, so the effect of Lock Arbor is not included in those numbers.
We're gonna hold off until he's done with his presentation, then I'll invite you up to the microphone. But the presentation's short, I promise you that,
Right.
but it's informative.
Now, the impact of municipal, school, and county taxes, and this is without Lock Arbor. So right at this point, the total combined municipal, school, and county tax increases for 2017 is $1,727,000, almost $728,000 without Lock Arbor. Okay, that represents an average of a $160 for the home assessed at $455,456. And this increase is also built into the third quarter estimated tax bills. Okay. Now the impact of the 2016 property revaluation. Okay, the total assessment for the township increased $603,000 or $3 million from $4,221,000 to $4,825,000. That's an increase of 4.31%. 14.31%. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The township residential assessment increased $499 million from $3,397,000 to $3,897,000, and that's an increase of 14.7%. Okay. Individual properties with an increase in the assessment of 14%, 14.7% or less would see their taxes remain roughly the same or decline, all things being equal. And that's what I mean by all things being equal is if we have the 2016 taxes divided up amongst the residents based on the new revaluation amounts, that those people would see either their taxes stay the same or decrease. And people whose properties had an increase above the 14.7% will see an increase in taxes. When you have a revaluation, the idea is to bring the entire town back into balance with the market. That's the whole goal, because the idea is that you want to have everybody paying fair taxes. And fair taxes isn't necessarily mean lower taxes. It means that everybody is paying fairly based on the market value of their properties. When you don't do a reassessment, what happens is that the market goes along, and there are places in town where the values increase faster than other places in the town. And it essentially results in an unfair payment of taxes by people whose assessments have gone up, but their overall assessment hadn't increased, and people whose assessments have gone down, or their market rates have gone down, but their assessments have stayed the same. The tax impact for the revaluation is reflected in the third and fourth quarter 2017 tax bills, and on the first and second quarter tax billing based on those 2016 taxes. So what I mean by that is that the first and second quarter 2016 taxes don't include that change in market value for the individual homeowner. So the impact for the tax revaluation is impacted in the second half of the year when the actual tax rate is struck.
Steve, a little louder, Steve.
Steve, yes.
Excuse me real quick, just a little louder, the
Okay.
people in the hall.
Sorry. The first and second quarter 2018 tax bills will reflect a decrease, and that's because the total levy for 2017 will be divided by 4, and that'll be your first and second quarter tax installment. It will definitely be lower than your third and fourth quarter taxes.
So you'll have a true tax bill for the first quarter of 2018.
Exactly. Okay. This is what we refer to as the heat map of Ocean Township.
We're almost done, folks.
Okay. This, if you look at the map, okay, the areas that are in green are the areas that actually had their property assessment increase from 14.7 and lower. Okay, so those are the areas where the revaluation was at the township average or below.
So the green is good, and the brighter the color, the
Right.
more severe the impact were on those folks.
Exactly. So the areas that are in yellow and orange.
It's folks. It's just
red.
we're not there to identify each property. It's very difficult on this one, but he's just trying to give you a general, overall view of the township of where everything is. So on your top right up there would probably be near Monmouth University. That section, that's Shadowlawn Manor, I would suspect. And the bottom left would be Asbury Avenue, Green Grove Road, all the way to your bottom left, Steve.
Right.
Just to give you an idea of which way the map's oriented, if that helps you at all.
Yeah. And this map is in display at our tax assessor's office so that you can review it if you'd like.
We're going to put all this online.
Yeah.
This will all be online.
Okay.
It will be online.
Okay, this is the revaluation change in assessments from 2016 to 2017. Okay, on the left-hand side of this chart are the properties where the assessed valuation was at 14.7 and below. The portion on the right, which is covered by the red arrow here, are the ones where the properties actually increased above the 14.7%. As you can see, these properties here, which is roughly about half of the township, they're not here tonight, as the mayor noticed. Everybody else here had increases depending, and they're bucketed in percentage increases. So the biggest one above that is 14 to 19.9%, and then 20 to 25%, 25 to 35, and then so forth.
Might have to do that.
Okay. Now, misinterpreting the tax bill, okay? Now, a lot of people are like this example here, and this happens to be the mayor's taxes,
I went up.
okay?
Wait a minute.
So the mayor's assessment increased about 19% over the 2016 assessment. He got an estimated third quarter bill of $2,146. Okay, so in scenario one, okay, he takes his 2013 estimate, which is $2,146.25, and he subtracts out the second quarter, the actual second quarter of $1,756. And he goes, oh my gosh, my taxes are increasing almost $400 or almost $1,600 for the year. Oh my God, that's not good.
Can't stand there.
That's all right. Let
Yeah.
them, they're in the hallway. That's better they're there. And you can look at this board.
Okay. If you figured out your taxes in this regard, it's incorrect. Okay, that's just not the impact. In scenario two, okay, third quarter estimate again, it's 2,146. Okay, then you multiply it by 4 quarters, comes up to 8,581. Okay, you look at that, and you look at your 2016 taxes, which were $7,024, and you're like, oh my God, look at that! That's a massive increase. Well, that's wrong too. You can't figure out your total annual taxes based on that. What you have to do,
Here's the right formula.
here's the right formula, is you have to take your 2017 assessment, in the mayor's case it's $352,200, and you have to multiply it by the estimated tax rate, and for his area in Fire District 1, that's...
No, I'm actually mine would be 2.164, but that's okay.
Okay.
You get the idea.
2.126, and the total estimated taxes for 2017 is going to be $7,487.77 and not $85.85. Okay, so his estimate is going to be more around the $7,400 amount, not $8,500.
And I think this is what most folks did when they opened that up. They went right to that third quarter estimated bill and they multiplied it by 4 and said, "Whoo, man, that's a lot. Oh my God, I went up $2,000. I went up $1,000. I went $500," and it scared a lot of folks. So we're hoping to get this message out. And for the folks who are in the hallway, just so you know, we started at 7. I know it was hard to get everybody in here on time, but we will put this up online for you in case you missed the beginning of it. And we'll also probably show it again at the next meeting if you have questions for anybody who missed the very beginning. We'll probably do that for you as well. But we're winding down this slide presentation and we're going into questions and answers shortly.
Okay, so anyway, the thing is that the first and second quarter 2018 are going to be 1,871, almost 1,872, versus the 1,756 from the first and second of 17. So you can see that number. has gone down from the third quarter estimate by quite a lot.
Just for everyone else, if you fall into the category I do, I pay mine through my mortgage company. I probably won't see this for a couple of months. They'll recalculate, send me a new bill, and say, due to your escrow difference in the tax increase, this is your new monthly payment. And so, that extra $30 a month will be on that bill.
Right. And again, the first and second quarter 2017 quarter payments are based on 2016 taxes and don't include the impact for Lock Harbor or the property reassessment. The first and second quarter 2017 taxes are based on 2016 taxes assessed on the property. Okay, so if you're looking at the first and second quarter, well, they're based on last year. They don't reflect what a quarterly amount would be for your 2017 taxes, because it doesn't include Lock Harbor, it doesn't include the other municipal taxes that have increased, it doesn't include the effect of the revaluation. So the third quarter has all of that stuff in it, which is why that particular number looks so scary. Plus, it's an estimate, and we've estimated a little on the conservative side because we don't know what's going to happen. We haven't gotten the certified rate yet.
So just to, because that's got a lot of numbers in it, in round numbers, if, let's say your taxes were $8,000 and they went up $800 more, so that's $200 a quarter. This quarter would have the $200 difference, plus $200 extra from the first quarter, so $400 more, plus about $100 and change for the impact of the Lock Harbor anticipation. So that first bill could look like, instead of $200 more, it could look like it was about $550 more. And then you multiply that by 4, and it makes it look like it went up $2,000 instead of $800. And that played out. I had numerous calls. Jake did, Steve did, and we've been doing that all day. We're going to take questions when we're done, though. Okay, just hold your questions if you can. You're going to get to come in when we're done and ask questions. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay.
You got to get here at 7.
There we go.
Started at 7, right? Right. Excuse me?
Okay.
I took it from the Ocean website,
Right.
and for 2016,
Just gotta wait.
for FDF one, it's 2.388.
That was last year's.
That's last year.
That was last
We're
year's.
talking about.
We're talking about this year.
Right.
Where you got that from?
That's
That's
this
what
year,
we're-
sir. You're going to get to come up to the microphone because we're taping this meeting and we can't hear you on this. I can hear you, but they can't.
It wasn't clear when
Yeah, last year's was 2.3 and change. That was last year's blended rate.
you compare it to last year,
Okay.
not this year's, because we don't know what the 27.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, after this presentation, you say, oh, my property valuation is too high. There is absolutely no way that I can sell my house for what's listed on the card or what's listed on as my property's assessment. Or perhaps last year you decided, well, I'm not going to let the inspector in when they come to reassess my property, or you weren't home when they came to inspect your property and they would never got a chance to look into your house. The problem with that is that if you don't let them into your house, what happens is they estimate everything high. Okay, they sit there and they say, okay, you've got the finished basement, you've got a finished third bathroom, you've got all major appliances are the high end in your kitchen, and the furnishings are great. And if you don't let them into the house, that's how they have to assess it. I said that's what they have to assume when they assess it. Okay. Okay. You didn't have your house inspected. So what can you do now? The Monmouth County Tax Administrator has a new website called Tiara. Okay. And what Tiara does, okay, and here's the website, and we have handouts for
We
Tiara.
have them here, right.
Okay.
And this will be on our website also.
Right. Okay. And what Tiara does, it's you can sign up for free. Okay. It allows you to review the information that was used as the basis for your property assessment.
So for those folks, like this gentleman said, now they know what we have in there. If for some reason you just couldn't make the 3 attempts where they tried to get you, and it happens, people weren't home or they didn't get contacted, and I understand that. And if you think your card's wrong and they assume that you had all these goodies that you don't have, absolutely appeal. And this is the process. You can open a case by going to that website through the county directly, and then they'll come out and they'll look at your card, and then they'll even come out to the house. We'll send somebody out and take a look at your goodies and see what you actually had and make the correction if that's the case. So, nobody wants any more than their fair share. I mean, we have the unpleasant task of sending a tax bill out for everybody, the school, the county, and the township, and of course, we take it on the chin. We're the low-hanging fruit, so we're going to get blamed for it. But the point is, trying to establish a fair tax amount or a fair, really, value of your home. And by all means, if it's not fair, we'll have remedies for you to cure it right here. So
Exactly.
we'll put that on the website.
The other thing is that this site, if you find information that's incorrect, you can open a case with the tax assessor now to review your assessment prior to the actual 2018 assessments being finalized. What this does is it basically allows you to essentially appeal your assessment now as opposed to January when you get the little postcard in the mail. Okay? Postcard in the mail tells you the way to go and do it, and it's formal, and you have to come up with comps and the whole 9 yards. This kind of avoids all of that. This gets you another review with the assessor so that you can make sure that the market value of your house is true. Okay? Again, if you feel that your market value is not correct, by all means, use this website, use this portal to discover what is the basis for your assessment, and to file a case with the tax assessor to review it.
Or you can come into town hall, and Jacob will be happy to look at your card and even make an appointment to come back out if he hasn't been to your house.
Exactly right.
We'll do that for you here as well. We've been doing that.
Okay.
Okay. So at this time, I'm going to have Vinny bring the microphone down, folks, and we're going to have you come up to the microphone, and because this is a taped meeting for your questions, just state your name and address for the record, and then ask your question, and then hopefully we can help you out with that. And then for those who still want to understand what their actual taxes are going to be or what their assessment is, stick around after the meeting, come up, we'll pull it up right here for you individually on the laptop, and we'll do the math for you, if that helps. Nope. No way. All right, so we're not going to yell from the back of the room, but just line up on that wall. If you have questions, come on up to the microphone. Now's the time to do that. Okay, this gentleman looks like he's going to be first. Okay. Name and address, sir?
Al Bender, 154 Old Orchard Lane,
Okay.
Ocean, New Jersey. Okay. Of the assessment, well, I guess my question really is this. How much is the assessment that went up for land only? And what is the basis of increasing the land value?
Okay, Steve, if he has any of that info there.
Steve, into the microphone, please.
Okay, as far as the assessment, now what the assessor does is they go out and they determine what the fair market of the entire property is. And then they figure out what the building is and back into the land number. Okay, it is not a number that is really a solid number for land. The building is the important thing, the overall market is.
Okay, can you answer the question then? In my personal case, okay, my assessment for land, including a revaluation in 2012, was $120,000. This new revaluation is $160,000. It's a $40,000 increase in land value. What does that do for me?
Well, I can't answer to how
Well,
your
anyone
assessment
can.
was done. Okay, I can refer you to the assessor. Okay, but the overall market is the market value of your house, the land, building, everything. The market value is what's important. Okay, so if the market value is what you think the you could get for that property if you were to sell it, okay, then it's relatively fairly assessed. Okay, if you can't, if it's like 600,000 and you could only get like maybe $300,000, if that's what the people around you are selling their houses for, and they've got the same kind of house, okay, then you've got a case to say, hey, you got to look at my assessment because it's wrong. Okay.
Okay, but still,
I can't answer.
I need an answer as to why land. In fact, I would like you to tell, if you can, of the total increase in the value. what percentage of it was only land as opposed to buildings?
I don't have any of that information. All I've got.
Who does?
You would have to talk to the
Hang
assessor.
on, Jacob's here, he could probably answer some of our tax assessor.
hang on.
This is our tax collector you're talking to.
That's fine.
That's no problem.
So I
This is Jacob, everybody, the
Hi,
guy
Jacob.
behind the phone there.
ultimately what matters is that total assessment. The way the assessments are determined is a process called the cost approach, and that assigns a value to the property, saying what would it cost to build that property today, taking into account factors such as depreciation and location. That value is set by a book published by the state of New Jersey called the Real Property Appraisal Manual. You can look it up. It's available online for anyone to review. That's the basis of all of our assessments. That provides an improvement value, a building value that's standard based on the input data from our inspections. But the thing is, the market value of a property may not equal the value of the building itself. That's where the land value comes in. If a building, by the book, is worth $150,000, but that home is selling for $300,000, then we're left to assume the land is worth $150,000, because that's the factor that can be adjusted. The building is a set value based on the Real Property Appraisal Manual. The land is where that difference comes in between the market value and the value of the building.
Okay, so the bottom line is, if I sold my house for $350,000, my appraisal would have been $350,000, $100,000 being the building and $250,000 being the land.
If the building was assessed at $100,000, because that's a by the book number. That number is based on the inputs from the inspections. It's not something that can be fudged with.
Right, in some areas, as you know, in Ocean are hot, and so it would drive those numbers out of whack. But I think the bottom line, if you were to appeal that, you would go to the county and they probably were looking at, so you're probably right, so the land's not worth it, we'll just raise the value of the structure, because they're just going to get it to what it would sell for. And at the Manor, there's 5 models: Essex, Kent, Bedford,
Right.
Wellington, and the York, and they're selling in that range.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anybody has a question, we don't take them from the back of the room, just line up and come on up to the microphone. Thank you very much for being orderly, we appreciate that. Go
Hi,
ahead. Name and address.
my name is Marilyn Ashkenazi. I live at 6 Joanna Court. The assessor came out to look at my home, walked through it with me, and as he was leaving, he read out loud what he determined was the value of the house.
Right on the spot?
On the spot.
Wow.
And he said, you have marble floors. I said, no, I do not. He says, you have granite in the bathroom. I said, that's Formica. No, this is not even a joke.
No,
I was
listening.
so upset. I says, wait, you have to stop right now and tell me what you're writing down, because
Good.
you're totally wrong. There is no marble in this house. There is no granite in this house. And and that's what's disturbing me with the assessments.
Yeah.
You're sending people out. They don't even know what they're looking at. He just assumed. He didn't ask me. He just assumed, and he started writing down.
Okay, well, in that case, absolutely come in and talk to Jacob, and he'll come out and do a field visit for you and adjust your card if all those things are wrong, absolutely.
Well, he obviously he did adjust it, I think. Well, let me see what
Oh,
happened.
did you, Jacob?
Well, that wasn't me, I don't believe.
No,
but,
no,
yeah.
it was not you.
Somebody came back for you?
No. We did it on the spot. I told
Okay.
him,
You
no,
made
no,
adjustments
no.
with him there?
Yeah, I said, I don't
We'll
have
look at
marble.
it anyway.
Yeah, I
Come
just.
in tomorrow, I'll take a look at it for you.
Okay, you got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
2 brief notes on the assessment process. 1, all of the information we have on your home is available on our website, and you can review it when you get home. There's a card that has our website on it. Please feel free, go look. Make sure we have the right information on your card. That's it, yeah.
Paul Merowitz, Cedar Village, Ocean, New Jersey. When I received my assessment, first thing I did was it went up. Didn't surprise me too much. I then looked at comparable sales within Cedar Village, which are fairly easy simply because there are similar models to my own in Cedar Village. I looked at those assessments. There was a range of approximately a range of about $45,000 for the same model between the high and the low. I did my calculation, I did my comps, my assessment was at the high end of Cedar Village, and I did not choose to file an appeal because I did not think I had the appropriate data, and in fact, in retrospect, my assessment was a couple dollars low, which was proved by the fact, as the mayor knows, I sold my house for more than the assessment.
Success story.
We're going to check that out. We're going to increase it retroactively.
Before you leave, there will be an adjustment to your card.
My buyer would appreciate that.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Go ahead.
However, when I looked at the homes in Cedar Village, there was a direct correlation between when the house was built and the property assessment. The homes that were built at the beginning of Cedar Village, 10 years earlier, had the lowest assessments. The ones that were built later had the higher assessment. I came in, I spoke to the mayor, I spoke to Mr. Mullaney, and they explained to me the residential cost approach that was just explained, which basically calculates the building value, a land value, and then applies a depreciation factor, which then would have explained quite clearly why homes that were built earlier in Cedar Village had a lower assessment than my home that was built later in Cedar Village. And as you, Mr. Mayor, confirmed for me, it doesn't make a difference in the selling price of the house in Cedar Village as to when the house was built. They all sell for the same price, except for internal amenities, and that's a buyer's choice. That posed a problem to me. I then took a look at Rolling Meadows. I took a look at other areas of the township. And at least my analysis shows that the aim of the revaluation was to bring everybody into balance so that they paid their fair share of taxes for the township. When I saw the heat map that you put up, I looked at the homes east of Monmouth Road, and they were green, which surprised me simply because those homes were here when I grew up in Asbury Park. Yet they've all been remodeled, gutted, and put together again. And when I looked at a couple of those homes, at least for my perspective, they were below the comparable sales of homes in the area. They got a benefit by the depreciation factor. To a certain extent, it would appear that some of the older homes in Ocean Township, the original homes in Wanamassa or in Old Oakhurst, may have benefited by a higher depreciation value as compared to the approach which would have been based upon market value.
I'm going to say this,
when we
Paul, not to interrupt you, but there's a gentleman behind you from West Allenhurst. He's going to have a different story, I assure you.
There are
And that's a
exceptions.
100-year-old home.
There's exceptions
Just
to
like-
every single case.
No,
What concerned me more than anything else was when my wife and I met with Mr. Mullaney, he had two solutions to the problem. One was file an appeal,
Right.
which I said right from the onset didn't make any sense because it would be a wasted appeal. The other comment he made was, well, you should have gone to the Constitutional Convention in 1948
Why weren't you
and
there?
told them that the methodology was incorrect.
I don't know about that. Oh my
To which my wife replied she was in diapers. Okay?
Paul.
Wrong answer.
Paul,
What I really want to know, and I challenge the council,
we've been challenged.
we're doing appeals.
Right.
Tierra is a system that was developed, it's a great system, but it's based upon comparable sales.
Right.
What good does it do if the entire evaluation was based upon a residential cost approach?
It wasn't. The entire evaluation wasn't only based on it. It was a jumping off point to hone in on around where we're at, and then the comparable sales, I think, as Jacob will tell you, was the finishing off, was the icing on the cake that really set the number for you. So even whether they use 6 penny nails or 10 penny nails in your house is irrelevant, because the bottom line is what you can sell your home for. As you've seen, we had you a little bit low. You actually sold for more than that. So I understand where you're going. You're bringing folks down into the weeds here where, you know, they're going to be misled thinking, hey, my home, the way they approached it, I should have a break here. No, they're going to look at the bottom line, is going to look at that sale. What's the last sale for this model, that home, that condition? How's it stand up to the home that just sold? And that's going to be the answer, folks. And that's the way to do it. You know, when the county comes out and asks us to do a revow, or they ask us to do the revow, this is the approach that they're taking. And what's fair about this is, Steve had mentioned something, if your value's 300 more, if your value's 5,000 more than what you think it is, you can appeal. The old method, you couldn't do that. There was a 15% pendulum that was really unfair. So if your home was 15% higher, you can essentially be paying $1,200 more a year and couldn't appeal it. So we're trying to get it so it's as fair as possible. But I understand what you're saying, and we can debate this all day long, but there's people here that really have other questions, I think, about their...
We won't debate it, but I'm just going to make a simple statement.
Go ahead.
That explanation holds no water in those communities that have exactly the same homogeneous population of houses. And I clearly will tell you, Cedar Village, that is the case, and I challenge the assessor's office to prove otherwise.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? If you remember your question, come on up to the microphone.
Irene Gilman, 122 Franklin Avenue in Oakhurst. I beg to differ with the gentleman who was just here. My extended bungalow, built in 1946, was in a very hot spot because it is east of Monmouth Road. And my piece of property, which I can't build on nor subdivide, has no pool, no tennis court, no cabana, an old beat-up doghouse, and that's about it. But might be attractive to out-of-towners who would level my house and put up some monster. So I have several concerns about part-time residents driving up market value. But first I'd like to...
Well, tonight I just want to focus in on the third quarter tax bill and do an explanation of the value of a home without all the extraneous factors coming in that you can bring to a council meeting. The fact, you know...
A council meeting?
Yes, we have council meetings. We have them, they're advertised and
Okay,
televised.
so when I brought my card in for the initial appeal, letting in the tax assessor walking through, he was a retired policeman, and I had a problem with the realty company that the council selected. First of all, there were several lawsuits brought against that realty company for fraudulent practices. He was so far off that my assessment was immediately lowered at the first level. Well, that made me very concerned, and so I took it to the county and brought my comps, presented my case. Property backs up to 2 camps. I have a college rental, blah, blah, blah. But because a house down the road sold for $1 million, I was lumped in there. How can that be fair and equitable? 1946, 2014, 2015, we need some relief. That's why everybody's in this room. And the state just passed the Property Taxpayer Bill of Rights. How Towling and Downing passed that. I hope that you'll put it up on your website.
Yep, I just got it emailed to me today.
Just got that email about that as well.
Yeah.
My other concern is the Lock Arbor problem. Are we at the mercy of Lock Arbor? We have lost every lawsuit at every level, yet we continue to hold out hope that this $2 million is going to appear miraculously. Also, staff members at the district school received an email about another $500,000 cut from Governor Christie's budget that could impact staff and programming. How are we preparing for these catastrophes?
That's a school question. I don't know if somebody from the board wants to answer that, or... Oh, Mr. General, do you care to... Or Jim? Jim? Okay, Mr. Stefankowitz, if you want to use the microphone.
Come up here and use the microphone. Is that one?
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Regarding the state aid, we were just able to finalize this last night as part of our budget, so a revised email will go out to our staff and our community that the state aid was originally proposed to be a decrease of what we were originally told back in February of about $534,000. What was ultimately passed in the new budget was a decrease in our state aid of about $155,000. However, there were some increases to our special education aid, which offset that. So at the end of the day, as relates to state aid, it was pretty much a wash. So there were no additional losses there. For this year, right. That's an ongoing discussion that will continue to take place as part of the Sweeney-Prieto plan, and with Senator Sweeney's plan to adjust the school funding formula that would ultimately look to continue to take state aid from the schools. But at least for the 17-18 school year, there was in essence, there was a decrease in one level of state aid, but an increase in special education funding. So it was a wash. As far as Lock Arbor is concerned, as Steve mentioned, it's ongoing litigation. It is correct that up to this point we have been unsuccessful in the rulings that have been rendered thus far by both the commissioner and some of the appellate divisions. The ongoing appeal still remains. But as far as as far as those dollars are concerned, it's $2 million, which I think ultimately equates to net out to be about 1.7 when it's all said and done. I think you reflected that in your presentation. Right now, we can't really give an idea of how it's going to go. It's we believe we have the law on our side as it relates to the merits of our case, but the law on our side hasn't seemed to be successful so far. We haven't received a date yet on our ultimate appeal, which is scheduled probably for the fall. So hopefully by calendar year's end, we'll know where we stand exactly with Lock Arbor. But I think where the town is, and I don't mean to speak for you, so please correct me, but I think it's an anticipation of what may happen as a worst case scenario that kind of drove your logic in some of that.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Let me just say something also with regard to litigation. Frankly, we haven't lost every step of the way. We had a litigation in, I think, 2009, where Lock Arbor was challenging the increase, and we won that litigation. That went to the appellate division. We won in the appellate division. They've done this new process, and frankly, when they attempted it, we won at the county level initially. That was appealed to the Commissioner of Education, and we did lose before the Commissioner of Education. So far, that's the only thing we've actually lost. The only other thing that's happened is while the case is pending in the appellate division, the lawyers asked for a stay of any vote or anything going on in Lock Arbor, and the stay was denied. But that's not a determination on the merits of who's right or who's wrong on the overall issue. So the only time we've actually lost the issue, and it's a big one, is before the Commissioner of Education at this time. So until the appellate division makes its determination, we don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Next, name and address for the record.
Good evening. Jim Gleason, 601 Woodland Road, West Allenhurst.
I know that address.
Yes, you do, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much for having us this evening. I do have a couple of questions, but I appreciate the heat map tonight and us low-hanging fruit out here. I'm really a little bit confused because I was basing questions based on your email or your letter that was up on the website, and then also conflicting data that was presented tonight on the PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to try to summarize because on the website it was saying that the municipal portion of taxes went down by 11%. Said that the overall blended rate of school, county, and everything went down. I do know, okay, at this particular point, that the particular bill that I received was a 44% increase, $1,400. Wasn't your $200 increase or $400 increase that was on the presentation tonight. $1,400 is a lot of money to me and my family, and quite honestly, not quite sure how I'm going to deal with that.
Was it 1,400 over last quarter? Is that what you're calculating?
Yes, it is.
So again,
exactly $1,400.
So built into that is probably, I'll look it up for you later. probably maybe $600 and 600 more for the first quarter, and then the Lock Harbor issue. You probably went up 600 a quarter, just off the top of my head.
So, I'm not trying to be.
That would look like
lie.
1,400 on this bill.
I'm trying to be respectful, but
No,
it's
I got you.
$1,400, okay? And so when I did the right thing, I came down to the office.
Oh, good.
Jake came out to the house. Jake came out to the house, correct? We had a nice meeting. Jake is a very nice guy and
He is
everything
good.
else like that. It really doesn't do anything for me August 1st.
Gotcha.
Okay, because even in the office, your office, Mayor, I was told, well, it's just an estimated bill, right? But in writing, it says this estimated bill has the same status as a regular tax bill.
Yeah.
I don't like being told two different things. All right, so I would like the language just cleaned up. Okay, when I'm asking about what am I going to do about $1,400, it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
It means a lot to my bottom line. Everybody has their own reasons for being here tonight. We have tuition payments. I think you understand my situation.
Sure.
It's a 90-year-old house, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let's just talk about Lock Harbor for a minute. In your language, Mr. Mayor, because of the pending litigation with Lock Harbor, we have added $49 this quarter. Okay, and that was for houses assessed at $418,000. On the presentation tonight, I believe I saw $189
For the year.
on houses assessed at $455,000.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so there's two. Is it two different numbers?
No,
or
no.
Which one is it?
The 455 is correct.
Okay, so is there a reason that it's not affecting residents on the heat map? Is Lock Harbor not affecting
That
other
wasn't on the
residents?
heat map. No, it wasn't. That was.
So it's
that
just
heat map
affecting
was-
people that have houses that were assessed above 455.
No, no, no. Is that your question? No, no. It's affecting, the Lock Harbor is affecting everybody, all 9,392 taxpayers, tax-paying entities. That's for everybody. The 49 was per quarter, about, so you saw the 189, so it's pretty close on that value.
Okay.
But as you know, there's a first quarter and a third quarter payment, so it's a double payment included on this third quarter bill.
So you're saying that the Lock Harbor decision at this particular time, as far as estimates are concerned, it's affecting all residents, not just people that showed up tonight?
9,392,
Okay.
yes. But they still are involved in it. If somebody went down $1,000, they went down 1,000 less 49. So it affects everybody.
Okay. Mr. Stefankowitz, thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that the state came through with the money. I hope we see a change in our state, in our budget. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Hi, Brian Rasp, 3 Oakwood Avenue. I wanted to kind of, the gentleman that came up with a green shirt before saying that the house is east of Monmouth Road. I live east of Monmouth Road. I've lived east of Monmouth Road almost my entire life. As far as I'm concerned, the Oakhurst area, I don't know, I didn't see the heat map. I don't know if Oakhurst is part of that or not. The entire part of Oakhurst should actually be depreciated because of all the rental properties that are in our neighborhood. Rental properties that I might add and question whether they all have COs for come the change of tenancy in September, which is something I guess at a council meeting I'll come and request. You know, what bothers me more than anything else is that we get this letter, this bill, not a letter, a bill in the mail saying in my case, my property went up 25%. I've done nothing to it. When Jacob was kind enough to come out to my house, he walked through my house. They had me down for a partially finished basement. I don't have a partially finished basement. They had me down for a new kitchen. I don't have a new kitchen. And there's no way in God's little green earth that these appraisers came out, got out of their car, and walked my property. There is no way. If you walk in my backyard, oh, there's a kitchen. You can see everything in my kitchen. If you, oh, there's a basement. Oh, there's 4 or 5 windows here. Take a peek in the window. Oh, that's not finished. There's no way. And for them to make that assumption that I have toilets made of gold is just they had me down for 2 new bathrooms. This is, you can't make that assumption and say, well, too bad, you have to deal with it later. That's just not right. Jacob was telling me that my particular house, I'm on the corner of Oakwood and South Lincoln, that because of the high amount of traffic on South Lincoln, that should be taken into consideration. And it wasn't. And it's not.
So your card was wrong, obviously.
I'd like to think so, Jacob.
Yeah, obviously.
I made some adjustments.
Thank you.
Good. Right, all those things, location, condition.
But this whole thing, like this about about South Lincoln Avenue. I mean, again, it's another issue for a council meeting, which I think I'm going to attend the next one. You know how much I like going to those things.
Yeah, I know you enjoy it.
And I know this isn't the time or the place. It's like Indianapolis on South Lincoln. And I have yet to see, with all due respect to our officers who do a great job in our town, I've yet to see a speed trap set up on South Lincoln. Never. And somebody's going to get killed there. And in Oakhurst, we have, and again, this does go to the tax issue. We've got the issue of 2 different sets of what essentially are rental properties. And I know they're the homeowners there for the 3 months. I get that. They're homeowners for 12 months. They're there for 3 months, and the renters are there for the other 9. And how am I supposed to sell my home for what's down on this card? Because I've got 3 rental properties in my neighborhood. Now, granted, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be. And Donna and Chris, you know the battles we went through to get this straightened out. It's not nearly as bad, but it's still there.
Right.
It's still there. And that's my point about the Oakhurst section, why I disagree with the gentleman. It's a problem in Oakhurst. It truly is. And my other thing was that there's no way the appraiser ever set foot on my property. Right. I don't even think he drove down Oakwood Avenue, to be honest with you.
So that's where you can open a case with the county, Brian, for sure. Definitely you're a candidate for an appeal, and I would do that.
Well, and the other thing is, too, this whole idea that your house is being driven up by property values around you. Now, I know you know my neighborhood.
Right.
In the square of Oakwood Avenue, Pinewood, all that stuff, there has not been any new additions put on a single home except the one across the street from me. Right. Lovely people. It's a huge house. It's monstrous. If you go all the way down Norwood Avenue, only one house has, 2, have these big, huge, properties built on them. And because of these 2 or 3 houses in this area, and then go up South Lincoln, you have houses that are being done. It's driving my house, and I haven't done anything, through the roof. 25% increase. I think I went from 370 something to just about 500,000.
Wow.
And this was with my partially finished basement that I don't have.
Right.
So like I said, that's insane.
Then you should absolutely. I mean, when you got your tax card, I would have come running down here then. So wait a minute.
And I guess I should have.
No, and not everybody did that, and I get it. But folks, if you missed that opportunity, like Brian did, absolutely, if you think it's unfair, we don't want you to be unfairly assessed. It's not our goal. If that's the case, absolutely come in for an appeal or go on the county website,
right,
open a case, and get in there and do it.
And could either of you gentlemen maybe tell me where can I go online to look for a list of the tax exempt properties in Ocean Township?
Jacob?
Yeah. So 2 things actually. The first, you're concerned about them looking into the basement and seeing that it wasn't finished.
Right.
The inspectors are not allowed to look into the home without permission of the homeowner. So that's why they wouldn't walk around looking into the basement or into the kitchen, because to protect homeowners' privacy, they're not allowed to just peer into people's homes.
So they're going to just make assumptions. That's a load of bull.
Now, before they make the assumptions, they sent out I don't know if everybody got a notice, but there was a notice that was sent out. And the notice said, we're going to go to your house and we're going to inspect the house. Obviously, somebody has to be there. And they allegedly said at least 3 times, either notices or I don't know if they made phone calls. I don't know what the story is.
No phone calls.
But and it said on the notice, if they're not allowed in the house, then they're going to make certain assumptions. So either, I know that in the past they didn't do that. In the past, no one ever came into my home. But this time, I said, "Well, come on in." But that was the thing.
Well, Mr. Arbus, I don't know your situation, but when they were wanting to come in, at the time I was a school teacher and I coached. I'm out my front door by 6:45 in the morning. I'm not getting home until 7 o'clock at night. Same thing with my wife. And if you think I'm going to allow somebody to come in my house with my 17-year-old daughter there, you're out of your mind. You know, I don't recall them making any accommodations. Well, we'll come out on a Saturday. We'll come out on a Sunday. Monday, they did.
Nonetheless,
I
listen,
stand corrected.
Brian, no, they tried, not everybody got, I understand, not everybody got every notice, and it's okay. I think, let's get past that. The cure would be, if you really think it's unfair, let's do something about that now. I think that's what we're looking to do.
Yeah,
So let's get you to the county, let's get you to the correct number, all right?
By
Yes,
the, by the way,
Okay.
I wish they had.
Then,
by the way, the Tierra system, it's a countywide system, but it is actually local. So anything that you get on there, the case that you open up with the tax assessor is with our tax assessor department,
Right.
okay? It is not a county-run system in that
Right.
regard.
Okay. Jacob, the other thing was, where do I get a list of tax exempt properties? I don't want to have to type in a single address each time to figure out if they're tax exempt or
Yep.
not.
Nope. So if you go to our website, which again, there's cards for our website
Right.
over on the table. There's a link that allows you to look at assessment data.
ladies, you're in next to the microphone.
And-
You got quiet.
Allows you to look at assessment data, and it allows you to choose any town in Monmouth County.
Right.
You choose Ocean, and
Right.
then if you do an advanced search,
Okay.
you have to choose to do an advanced search, not a simple
I'm
search.
familiar with that, yeah.
It'll allow you to put conditions on your search, one of which is to choose the class of property you'd like to search for, and you can choose anything from vacant lots to commercial properties, as well as all the different forms of exempt properties. You can even pull an Excel spreadsheet if you want to manipulate the data.
That would be very helpful. I appreciate it, because I'm a little bit concerned of the house that's going up on Whale Pond, whether that's going to be that single family
I'm
residence.
counting on $131,233 from that one, so it's
Good
not
man.
gonna be. Thanks, Brian. Next, please, come on up to the microphone and state your name and address. It's folks that are on the wall there. We're lining up over there. Yes, sir.
I am Ken Zane. I live on Marissa Court in Ocean.
Okay.
I got an increase in my taxes as well. Not really happy about it, but I'm not here to.
Ken, why don't you move that mic up towards us?
Yeah, come a little
There you
closer.
go.
You got folks picking up information over there. Okay.
So anyway, I got my estimate, got an increase, wasn't happy, but I'm not here to complain. I'm here to actually, for one simple issue, hoping you can answer it for me. Where I live, all the houses were basically built at the same time, more or less, right around the same time.
Right.
So I'm paying, a pretty good amount of taxes. The person right across the street from me, directly across the street, my neighbor, who has a larger house, the land was, my land was assessed at $235, their land's assessed at $246.8. My improvements are $262.1. Their improvements are $300,200. So their assessed value is $547. My assessed value, I guess this is 2016, is $497,100. So we're looking at basically a $50K difference. I don't want to get into numbers or specifics or anything like that, but basically I'm paying $10,700 in 2016 numbers. Okay, it's going up for 2017, I realize that. But it got me thinking, everybody here is talking about fair and square. Everybody should pay the same, everybody, equity, market value. So I went on the website, that open public record search system. Just took a look around and came across my neighbor across the street. I'm just wondering, I'm hoping you guys can explain it to me. So I'm paying $10,764. It's going up. It's going to be over $11,000. It's going to be $11,200 or something.
I'm sorry, but you actually went down. Your estimated for 2017 is going to be 10,568. Your property increased from 460,000 to 497. So you were under the 14%.
So you had a tax decrease.
I had a decrease?
You did. Mic drop moment. Boom.
This is one of the 4,100 here.
Okay, but I still have a question, okay?
Oh,
You
he
still
does.
didn't answer my question.
Get back out there, Jacob. Look at it again.
I still want to know
Press your luck,
why
Ken.
my neighbor across the street with a bigger house
We'll get him.
is paying, and this is fixed. Mine's gone up $500 on average for the last 20 years since I've lived there, 24 years. It's never stayed the same. I think this is the first time it's ever gone down. So I'm going to go home and have a drink tonight.
Yes, you will.
But theirs has been fixed at $8,155 since forever. That's like going to be, I mean, we're talking, what, $2,500, $2,800 less taxes than I'm paying? What's up with that? I mean, where's the equity? It's a bigger house. It's built the same time. The whole community is basically, I mean, there's bigger houses, smaller houses. This one's bigger than mine. Why are they paying $3,000 less in property tax than I'm paying?
You're paying $3,000 less?
Well, it's okay. I paid $10,764. They've paid $8,155 for I don't know how long. So you do the math. How much is that?
Maybe they have a property tax freeze. I don't know. We'll have to look
How do I get in that league? What do I do?
You'd have to come in and tell on your neighbor, and we can look it up. And I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know why it's that way.
One at a time, please.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, and no.
Okay.
You're saying they're assessed at a higher value, but their taxes are less.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well,
Can I tell you in private?
yeah.
Yeah. Whisper in his ear. He'll look it up right now.
After
Let
the
me
meeting.
let me give you this. This is it right here.
Why don't you wait until after the meeting?
Okay, yeah, I'll see you after
I'll
the
say
meeting,
this.
but if there's some kind of exemption or something going on, I want to be part of it. You know what, I mean, I can see maybe a couple $100 here and there.
Excuse me.
But that's crazy.
Excuse me, just so everybody knows, we are recording this, so everybody has to be respectful for the person speaking and not hold their own conversations, please. Thank you.
So that's my tale of woe. I'm glad my taxes went down, but I'd like them to go down to 8,100. I'd even be even happier. Thank you for your patience.
You're welcome. Anybody else come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record?
John Waldron, 1207 Herbert Avenue. Okay, first of all, I allowed the tax assessor in my home. He walked through the house. It's a small home, like 1,800 square feet if you include the basement, which is finished. And my taxes went up. Well, if you know, this new bill went up $651.93. It's built in 1953. It has the original kitchen, which is in the basement. It has the original bathroom, one bathroom, pink and avocado, by the way, which is, you know, what can I say? And basically 2 bedrooms. So it's a small home, very small. And can you justify that increase? I understand, you know, this is like possibly going to go down a little bit, but is it going to go down to maybe $500 less? I mean, it's $651 from what I paid in from February 1st quarter.
Right.
So
this quarter bill is $651
more.
I'm gonna, in my head, I'm gonna tell you it's about $225 more a quarter.
All right. Well,
that's the true number. 225 plus 225 is 450 plus 100 for the school,
Okay.
550.
That's wonderful. You know, I guess that's good news. But how do I pay that extra $651 for this quarter?
Well, do you pay it through your mortgage or you pay it a separate?
No, I pay. I write a check.
All right, then you come in to see Vinny and he'll tell you some of the options that they have available. I mean,
All right.
some folks actually make their payments 12 months
Oh, I
throughout the
see.
year. You'd probably have to catch up the quarter, of course, by state statute. I can't tell you not to make
No,
the
no,
payment
no.
on time, but come in and see
All
Vinny,
right.
the tax collect, over there.
Yes.
And we offer that for folks who, if it's too much at once, look, make payments each month, and when your quarterly comes up, there's another piece.
Okay,
You
well,
can do that.
that's good to know. My other question really is, why would the assessor have brought that? It's an old house. It was, as I said, built in 1953. Maybe I didn't say that, but the point is, it's as old as I am. It's 64 years old, and I just don't, how that increase could be so dramatic on a small house in Monmouth.
Again, right, they went by, I guess,
And I let them in, so-
The messages are trying to get it to what if you don't think you can sell it for that, appeal. I mean, that's really what
Right.
we're trying to do to folks, is make sure they're not overpaying. So
All right.
if it's not the fair market value, but in my head, I think that's the number that you actually went up.
All right, well, thank you. I
You're welcome.
appreciate your time,
No,
and
no,
thank you very
no problem.
much. All right.
I did yours. You're 3,100 a quarter. That's your new. Says 39.
Next, yep.
Pat Amato, 2 Glenview Drive. I'm just trying to reconcile the third quarter amount like all of
Okay.
us are.
We'll do it for you.
And I've crunched my numbers. So I've taken my new assessed value, multiplied by the fire district I'm in. There's my new annual amount, divide by 4.
Correct.
That should be my fourth quarter payment. We're
Right.
not going to add anything into the
Right.
fourth quarter?
Well, the
Yeah.
fourth quarter, Steve, will have what in it?
The fourth quarter, essentially what happened.
It'll be
What
your first
happens
quarter.
with an estimated tax bill is it's just that it's an estimate and it goes against the total amount of taxes that finally get calculated on your tax bill. So when we finally are able to certify a tax rate, then we will able to calculate out what the 2017 taxes truly will be. And then we subtract out what was paid for the first, second, and third quarter. And then the result will be your fourth quarter taxes.
When is that certified?
Well,
Because we're already.
we're waiting for I mean, the whole reason we had to do estimates was because they couldn't certify our tax rate because of the Lock Harbor issue. The school boards, both Lock Harbor as well as Ocean, submitted an A4F, which is their taxing for the year. They couldn't certify ours, and that way we had to go out and do the estimate. Now, I'm hoping that there's some case. I think there's a hearing in the next couple of weeks. Maybe that will give us more definite on the tax rate, and we can get the certified bills calculated and out the door. But until that happens, we're kind of like.
But the number you did, that's going to be for 2018 February. That quarter certainly will be static and level. That's the.
We're not going to get an additional Okay, so with the Lock Harbor for my third quarter, so I realize I have to pay catch up for first and second quarter based upon my new amount. So I've subtracted those times 2, plus the Lock Harbor amount, which I just calculated tonight, added on, and the number's still higher than it should be for third quarter. So I'm missing something.
Well, we also have the regular increase in the municipal, the school, and the county taxes.
Well, isn't that all in the multiplier that I
Yeah, it
used?
should be in the
Yes,
multiplier. I'll have to
it's
look
all
at
in
it for
there.
you.
So I've done that, and I've calculated my new quarterly amount, and then I've subtracted by what I was missing for the first 2 quarters, added that onto the new third quarter amount, plus the Lock Harbor amount, and it's still not right, it's still higher.
I'll do a number.
I'll tell you what.
You want me to make an appointment and come in?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
I'll
your
take a
address?
look at it. I've got your address here.
Oh, you got it?
So.
Okay, I was going to do the number for you.
So I'll just make an appointment to come in and go, thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir. Come on up.
Vic Zappa, 1118 Jeffrey Avenue.
Okay.
In addition to the shock that we received with the new assessment, this estimated bill also has a due date of August 1st.
I know. It looks so harsh. I know. I
So,
know that's half the problem was that the way that bill was worded, folks.
So
pay this now or else, and you're due by that date or else we're coming. And I know that.
yes,
that
that
could
is
have been worded differently.
yes, that is the perception that.
Wish I saw that one.
So
I get you.
how are we supposed to address this?
So
then?
are you, again, mortgage or independently paid outside the mortgage?
We're still within our mortgage.
Okay, so you're probably not even going to see that bill until after September. In other words, they'll recalculate your monthly payments,
Mhm.
and so that'll be thrown into your new
Okay.
monthly payment for your mortgage. You won't actually pay it August
Well,
1st or the
okay.
10th. The mortgage company will pay it for you. They got the bill.
Okay,
And then
but
they'll send you the
that now brings me to my second question.
Okay.
This assumes that
Folks, we can't hear.
Please.
Thank you so much.
this assumes that the input data that was used to calculate my bill was all correct. So
That too. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, if you
And
think your
as-
card's wrong, come in, we'll take a look at
okay,
it too.
and I guess that is available on the county website.
Yes, the Tiara, you can go there. Here's the
Okay.
thing, if you missed the,
Yeah, I mean,
If you missed the appeal portion, you-
forgive my ignorance, but
no problem.
the
I'll-
card you're talking about, is that the input, is that the data that's
The
on?
data for your house, we have it
Okay.
here also. You can come in and Jacob can look it up for you and see,
Okay.
make sure it's correct first of all.
Okay,
In the unlikely event, if you missed the appeal for this year for 2017, you missed it, but it can be adjusted for 2018 for sure if it's wrong.
okay, can that appeal be applied retroactively?
No. No, I mean, they gave you every option. They had guys set up here doing the appeals. They were here day and night for weeks. They were here doing. I know not everybody was able to take advantage of it, but they were here.
All right. Then, okay, I have a couple more questions. Will the sample calculations that were presented during the slideshow be available on the town website?
Yes, they'll be
So
there
that
up there tomorrow.
Based on this
That whole
information?
everything will be up there tomorrow. That whole presentation. We want to try it out on you first.
All right.
Before you put it up there.
And the gentleman said that the assessed value was based on a fixed procedure for the value of the building, and then the value of the property was the difference between the market value and the value of the land was based on the difference between the market value of the property as a whole and the value of the building. Okay, but that's still two unknowns, right?
Two
It's
unknowns?
Yes, you have the
Okay.
unknown. You have the variable market value. So
Mhm.
you're basing the value of the property on a variable market value. So
What's
that
a
means that-
variable market value?
Well, it's okay. The market value. The market value is, as other people have said, is driven by neighboring properties. So it may or may not be correct for the property in
Then
question.
come in and, like I said, we'll take a look at the card and that can be corrected.
All right. So we would have to make an appointment for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would we make it with?
With Jacob.
Okay.
Yeah, you can come in. We're here, I'm here with them during the day, come in between 8:30 and 4:30.
And when would those adjust? If there were any adjustments made,
2018.
they would be made
For the first
2018.
quarter, absolutely.
Okay. So,
Folks,
the
he still has a question, I think.
the
he's
amount
up.
reflected on this estimate, okay, the way I understand it is it would be effective for the third and fourth quarters of 2017.
Go ahead, Steve.
That estimate is just for the third quarter only. We don't know what the final taxes are going to be. That's why we would send that out.
Mhm.
When we get the actual certified rate and we're able to calculate the true taxes, there'll be a reconciliation with the fourth quarter bill. Okay,
Mhm.
so any changes will be reflected there.
And this does not include the Lock Arbor issue yet.
It does include Lock Arbor.
It does.
Yes, we included Lock Arbor because we wanted to be more conservative.
I see.
Not only that, but if we waited till the fourth quarter when everything fell out and Lock Arbor did actually succeed in what they're doing, then you would be hit with an entire year's worth of the Lock Arbor effect, and therefore you would have a big increase in your fourth quarter taxes as a result. And we didn't want to do that. We really wanted to spread it out.
Okay. All right. So, if we come in and review the
card,
the card, then any adjustments made would be effective for 2018. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
what I understand?
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Lucy, come on up.
You heard from me today already.
Oh, you, that's you.
Lucy DeCruz, 3 Bryan Court.
Just pull it down because you're,
Short.
I'm sorry.
I didn't say it. I did not say
Name
it.
again?
Lucy DeCruz, 3 Bryan Court. So my issue with all this assessment, first of all, our assessment went up 23.07%. And in dollars, it's about 2,000 or so more per year. We did allow the assessor, we actually worked very hard to schedule it for him to come and look at our house. We have a finished basement, which we do not have. So I will be calling Jacob. I have to get your number. That's one thing. But to say that we had the chance to appeal when the card came out at the end of the year, and believe me, I look at everything.
Yeah, sure you do.
Everything. So the card came out and it showed that our value was going to be $850,200. Okay. That means absolutely nothing because I don't know what my tax is going to be based on that. My house has fluctuated from 600 to over $1 million.
See, that's the thing. It wasn't based on what your taxes are going to be. It's based on what you thought the value was going to be. That's what you appeal. You can't appeal your taxes, but you can appeal your value, which will affect your taxes.
Understood. But when the house was worth over $1 million, the tax was lower. And now, why would I appeal? I don't care. I don't know what the tax dollar is going to be. I have no idea. Maybe everybody else's house went up by the same amount or down by the same
Right.
amount. The percentage is the
understand.
percentage. It doesn't matter. I don't know what every other Ocean Township house is worth, and if mine is staying within that same percentage, or if it's going to mean I pay more tax. It's not fair to say you should have appealed when you got the card because you don't know what you're talking about when the actual tax bill comes.
Understood.
I could have had a tax break. I wouldn't know
Right.
until you get this shocker. And then you get the shocker that doesn't have an explanation at all. Honestly, like what Jacob is saying, it would be very easy for every taxpayer to get this thing and see, oh, you know what, they have an extra bathroom or they have this. Why don't you send all the taxpayers the information rather than have us all go crazy and assume all these things? I mean, it's insane. For me to call you today took a lot. I don't
I'm
do
sure.
that.
No,
I
I
don't do
understand.
that. And
That's
to be
okay.
at this meeting, I have better things to do. I get up really early to go to work. I would normally already be in bed. So for me to be here, it's because I'm really like beyond with this whole assessment. Also, the school tax. I'm all for the kids. Kids matter more to me than anything else.
Good.
But to say when you pass a budget that it's not going to affect our taxes at all, how can that be? How can we spend so much money on a school and the money comes from nowhere? I mean, you can't add to your house without more money.
Well, no, that would be a school again.
Understood, but this is what we were
That's a
told.
school issue. I
This is what we
understood,
were
right.
told. It will be no tax increase. That's what I read.
Jim, use the mic.
So your levy is your levy. That's what it costs us to operate the school.
Okay.
The question's always been, who pays the levy? Ocean was 97%, Lock Arbor was 3%. What the assumption is now is that if we don't succeed in court, it's Ocean 100%. It didn't raise how much it costs to operate the schools. That didn't go up.
So to
What
build
went
the new
up-
buildings, all of that didn't go up
That's
at
the
all? That didn't
referendum.
cost us
I'll
extra
let
money?
Mr. General talk
Bond
about the
issue,
referendum. That's entirely separate. The budget for running the school system didn't go up. It's who's paying that 100% of that budget. We used to pay 97.
No, understood. The
Lock
everyday
Arbor paid
costs, totally
3.
understand. I
Well,
understand that.
But that's this piece that Mr. Gallagher is talking about that's been added to everybody's assessment. That's the piece that went up. It's not that the budget went up. It's that Lock Arbor is saying they're not going to send us a check for the next quarter. So they're planning on the worst
I
case.
get the whole thing. But before we knew anything about Lock Arbor, when we were passing the budget and they were saying they were going to add all these buildings, but it was going to cost us nothing. Is it not really not costing us anything for all this construction?
I'll let Ken talk about the construction.
It actually is not.
Hello, Ken Janneron, I'm the school business administrator. I think what you're referring to is the referendum, and that has to do with the mortgage part of the school budget, which is our debt service. So we had buildings, we had payments going off our mortgage payments.
That would
were
be
coming
tax
off.
savings.
Yes, so we
Understood.
were having a tax savings, and we hadn't done the major referendum in 25 plus years, so that was coming down, and then we replaced that debt with the new debt. Of course, it cost $28.9 million to do the updating that we're doing
But
now.
that's extra costs. If you didn't do that, we would get
But your
reduced
overall,
taxes.
there was not an increase to your debt service. There wasn't. So there was a decrease, and it went back up with the new debt, but it didn't go up higher than what you were paying before.
It was actually lower than, you're right.
I'm missing something.
So
if I pay off my mortgage, I no longer have a mortgage. I have extra money to spend.
correct, but
If
what?
I put in an addition, that costs me money. The money has to come from somewhere.
Correct.
I lost my savings.
But
or
you're not spending any more for $28 million worth of increased buildings.
I guess, you know, the
We were
wording,
paying
when they
$3
put the
million.
wording out, they really should be
We
more
were paying $3
clear.
million, it went down to $2 million, it went back up to about $2.8 million, so we were still paying less than the original $3 million.
So unless it's a grant that somebody else is paying for, Ocean Township pays for the construction.
Absolutely, that's always been, yes.
Right. That's not how it was worded when they put the things out there, for me anyway, because I don't like misleading information.
Well, I
I'm just
I
glad
think
it's
what
not
they're trying to say is that the tax impact on retiring the debt and taking on the new debt was zero. Okay, so it wasn't costing the taxpayer anymore. They were just replacing one.
We would have
with the
saved
other.
money, though.
Right.
Sure, oh yeah, you would have saved
Had
retiring
they
that
not
debt.
done the improvements to the school,
Right.
your taxes
Exactly.
for the school would have gone down.
Exactly.
However, the improvements to the school apparently were needed, and that's what someone determined, that you needed to do these improvements, and it would be a good thing to do them when
And they voted
it
on
wouldn't
it.
have an impact.
Right, they voted on it. I wish
Right.
they would have given the information. If we do nothing,
You
our
get a big
taxes go
tax
down by
break,
this
absolutely.
percentage.
Right.
But if we build this,
And-
then
and
it's
we
gonna
did
go
do
by
that,
this.
yes.
I never saw anything like that.
We had
I never saw
information,
anything like that.
multiple
But
information
again, I
sessions.
mean, it is what it is. Listen, we have to pay the bills. I get it, and they will get paid, obviously. But this is not right. And to send out the card and to appeal at the time before you know what the tax implication is on your own home, that's not right.
Well, I think, I hear what you're saying, Lucy. I don't think there's any way to tell you, forecast what the tax will be. I think what we could have done differently in hindsight, again, mayor and council, we don't look at what the tax department sends out. We just, I'm not blaming anybody, but I think knowing that the valuation went up 14.5%, I think we could have put something in there about that. Listen, if your value stays within this 14.5%, no tax consequence. If it goes above, you will have a tax. Then that would have given you then you would have triggered you saying, listen, I went above a 14% valuation. I think I should appeal. I think that would have helped you.
We've already been significantly higher than what our value is going to be now. But our tax has never been this high.
But you can't.
That's what I'm trying
Well,
to say.
our tax rate and levy hasn't really changed. Your value has changed, and that's what's drove your taxes higher. It wasn't, we didn't
raise the taxes.
We didn't raise the taxes for any reason. Somebody went down 3,300, somebody went up 3,300. That actually happened. We're still operating around the same $21 million tax levy since we've been in office. I mean, that number changed this much,
Right, but I
$12
don't know what
a
everybody
quarter.
else's change is going to be.
I understand.
I wouldn't
you
know
can't-
what my tax is going to be,
Lucy,
so should I appeal or
I
not?
think the only information we could have given you better, and I think, I say we should do this going forward. It probably won't be, because this whole point of this is not to ever have a tax shock again. But if that were to ever happen again, I think we could have put in there, listen, like we did on our budget presentation, our valuation went up 15%. If your valuation went above 15%, you'll probably have a tax increase. That's when you want to take a look at your evaluation, say, I should appeal this. That's all we could have done for you. We couldn't have put a number on it. We didn't have the numbers.
Because we've been here before and we never had this issue. This is the
Okay.
first time. This is like
This is first
over
time
the
for all
top.
of us.
Yeah, this is over the top.
First time I've ever had to do this,
So,
and I've been sitting here 14
I'll
years.
definitely be making an appointment
Oh,
to
good.
at least
Good
have you
stuff.
at least look at my basement.
Yes.
Because the other
Well,
person really
whatever we
didn't
can do to
look.
help.
I don't know what he came to do at this point.
Sounds good.
So,
Good.
thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
Carl N. Steinberg. I live at 200 Cash Cow Rolling Meadows.
Oh, boy. Okay. Nice. Get them. We're still only 21% of that cash cow. I just want to throw that out there.
I've lived here for approximately 10 years.
Okay.
My taxes were $5,120 when I moved here in 2007. They're close to $10,000 now.
Okay.
Rolling Meadows people, 328 homes, keep the neighborhood as a pride of Ocean Township. However, we seem not to benefit in any way. Taxes go up, we ask for services, we're told the Kelly law doesn't permit it. However, you're entertaining a new Toll Brothers, that's going to be another cash cow for you. What I'm asking this council to do is write letters to the assembly and
change it for you
and help us get freezes that are within our means.
Yeah.
Every year they go from 50 to 60 to 70.
Yeah, they change the number on it. It's
Yes,
not fair.
but there has to be a
Absolutely.
resolution from this mayor and council that goes to Trenton And we need you people to echo our concerns.
Will do.
Because our pots are drying up. We're no longer able to keep our grass green.
Yeah, I think the senior tax
If
freeze
I
should
may
be
fin-
for everybody, not for
Yes.
income driven. I think it should really be.
However, we don't add
All
to the
seniors.
burden of the school taxes because we don't send anyone to school.
Right.
Now, one of the things we could get that other towns offer are seniors when our air conditioning and heating system and hot waters break, you charge us full boat for the permits. Other towns give a break to their seniors,
Okay.
62, 65. Some of them charge a flat fee, $25. I just had the hot water heater go, $70. HVAC go, they want $150.
Right.
It's just unfair, and it's things that you people have at your ability. No one's going to go broke.
Right.
And I'm asking you to reach out to seniors in all of Ocean Township and give them breaks wherever you can.
Yeah, I don't hate that idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Great call. Yeah, we do it for veterans and firemen and all that. Right, we can extend it somewhat
to seniors.
Driving Steve's going crazy over here, but
Now, one of the other things I need
smoke's
to do-
coming out of his ears. Yeah, we're going to do that.
Now you pay the reevaluation company to come to our homes,
Right?
And they I added the deck on. They zapped me $500. I added half my basement, another $500. I love living there. It's close to my work. I have to keep working to keep paying these higher taxes. However, when you send out bills, the stamps aren't free. It costs us $4,000. I watch my dollars. So you're going to send $4,000 now, and another $4,000 when you send the next bills. Who's responsible for that? The county? The reevaluation company? You have to start watching 4 and 5. If you don't care about the little money,
Right.
the big money doesn't mean a thing. Maybe our police cars can't be 2 colors no more, 3 colors. They're beautiful cars. But it's your job, fiscal
The chief's
responsibility.
right behind you. I love it.
He's a great chief. That's not going to impact the
No, I
quality of
understand.
his work,
Right.
the color of the car. But what I'm saying is we're in a day and age, we can't afford the increases that we keep getting. And it's your responsibility. I know we want to give everybody raises, but maybe you got to say to your tax assessor, you have to work 5 days for us. If you can't work 5 days, we'll get somebody who will. You know, it's just...
The tax assessor does work 5 days.
Jacob.
Does he work 5 days?
Yeah.
8 hours a day?
He works a
Well,
full work week.
12
Well,
these days.
I'm just saying,
I've been here
maybe
with
you need some night hours so these people don't have to come here. They can come and meet him in his office on Wednesday night, Thursday night. I mean, I reached out. In fact, I congratulate Stephen over here. He answered all my questions on the phone. But I get tax bills from numerous towns,
Yeah.
and they were all online with their rates so that I didn't have to go. And I asked you to seriously consider some of the suggestions I made.
Absolutely will.
Thank
All
you
good
very
stuff,
much.
Carl. Thank you.
James Kelly, 185 Ridgewood Avenue. Just like everybody in here tonight, my taxes obviously went up. Everybody except for the one guy. But
He didn't know it, too.
Yeah.
He didn't know it.
we're obviously all upset and we're angry. You know, we don't budget for this. You give us 2 weeks
More.
notice
Mhm.
to pay, for example, mine are $1,300 more. I get 2 weeks notice. Hey, by the way, you have $1,300 more this quarter. Oh, it's just an estimate, but it's an estimate, so I don't have to pay it.
Right.
I don't have to pay that. I do have to pay that. And then you're sitting up there and you're smiling and you're saying, "Oh, it's going to go through your bank. It goes through your mortgage. They'll take care of it." So wait, they're going to pay for it? Oh no, they're not. I have to pay for that. My question to you is, what are you going to do to fight for everybody in here to lower our taxes? This town is becoming unlivable because of our taxes.
Okay.
What are you going to do for us?
Thank you. Very good. I don't think there's anybody up here that's not mindful of the taxes in town. We're not raising the tax levy for the town. In other words, I think you guys are confusing it with us getting, you paying $1,400 more, we got that much more into the town coffers. That didn't happen.
No, I want them less. I don't want
Well,
them
we
to stay
can, less
even.
could be
What
cutting
do you-
services. Absolutely, we can
Let's
do that.
Cut services.
We
Get
can do
rid
that.
of them.
You can
Cut
have
all the
any level
programs.
of, listen, you
Let's
can have
take
any
people
level of
out our
service.
school population and illegal immigrants in this town.
Okay.
What do we have to do to lower taxes?
We have
you
to
need
cut
to start
services.
figuring things out.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like I said, folks, we'll offer any level of service you care to pay for. If you want us to cut back services, we can reduce anything, it's, go ahead.
Sidney Lee Cash, 172 Larchwood Avenue, Oakhurst. So I'm kind of in the same boat that Brian Rasp is in. I live in a Red Cup rental district. And I went and I saw Jacob based on our conversation. And, he's got some impressive books and Excel spreadsheets and a lot of numbers. But as a real estate person, that it's what a willing buyer will pay and what a willing seller will sell for. And in my case, I don't have a free market. There is no typical American single family that's going to buy my typical American single family home. I have a very restricted market for my house. Nobody wants to live next to college kids. Nobody wants to have parties at 2 a.m. Now, how is that factored in? Does it get factored in?
Again, that's an off-site condition that, when you do an appeal, you should bring it up. They're basing it they're just basing on recent sales in the neighborhood, even though you think it's undesirable for somebody to have that situation. The investor, I guess, is buying a home and doing just what you're saying, buying it, they're living there in the summer and renting it out, so they're still willing to pay that price, even though that you have that burden next to you. And I know we went over that for, your neighborhood was hit hard with that. Yeah.
I have a question.
And I get it, sure.
I have a question for this gentleman. You said that in your professional career, you would never get to the point where you issued some sort of a...
TANs, tax anticipation notes. Now, the gentleman before you was going on about the $4,000 that it cost us to send out the estimate, and then the $4,000 that it'll cost us to send out the actual bills when we get the rate. But if we had to borrow that money, even for a short time, 90 days or something like that, that would cost greater than that $4,000.
I see.
I don't want to do a TAN because I think TANs are fiscally unprudent.
I see. So, in your judgment, then, it is far better to go to all of these people here and ask them for an interest-free advance, which is what this bill amounts to. I think it's cruel. I think it's unfair to senior citizens. I think it's unfair to people who are in their middle age, who are paying for tuitions, for all those people who have all the burdens of life. And I'll tell you what, I probably wouldn't have gotten up here, but after I left Jacob, I went down to the tax collector's office, and I wanted to find out if there was a way that maybe I didn't have to pay it all at once. Maybe I could pay it out because it was a huge burden. And the gentleman came out to me and he laughed at me. And I got very upset. And I said, I guess I have to sell my house. And you know what his answer to me was? Good.
No. Really, Sid?
I will sign an affidavit to that effect.
Absolutely not.
That's exactly what happened.
Absolutely not.
Thank you, Sid.
I didn't think anybody would be man enough to own up to it.
I did. And I never said that. I said
yes.
Good evening. Anthony Caparasso, 24 Dogwood Drive, Cedar Village. It's with 1 P. Bring it up on, thank you. Before I get into the tax thing, a lot of my friends are up there. Good evening. Thanks for letting me have the opportunity to talk. But I heard this joke today. Italian kid went away to college and hadn't seen his grandmother for about 5 or 6 years. She lived in New York City. I think his name was Johnny Knapp or something. But anyway, he calls her on the phone. He said, Grandma, I got to come and visit you. I haven't seen you in a long time. I miss you. She said, oh, wonderful. But when you come to the apartment building, she said, you got to use your elbow. Hit the buzzer. You go off, you get in the main vestibule. And once you get in the main vestibule, you use your elbow, hit the other buzzer, and you get to the bank of elevators. When you get to the elevators, elbow again, door opens up. In the elevator, elbow, 14th floor, knock on his, whoa, Grandma. Johnny said, what's with the elbow? She says, well, you're not going to come empty-handed, are you?
He'll be here all the week.
Okay. I moved into my home in 2005, and I think my taxes back then, you have the numbers there, were $7,500. And this year, I don't know, I can't wait to go home and multiply by 0.02126. My new assessment is $520,000, And last year's assessment was $440,000. That's $80,000 in 1 year. It's kind of high, and I'm just here tonight to tell you that I'm not happy with it, and I think that the word budget, from my experience, was, you know, you had some money. When I was a kid growing up in Newark, they used to give me $1, and I'd go buy a high bouncer and half a watermelon, and if we had something left over at night, we'd throw 10 cents in each to the car and come down here to Long Branch where all the rich people live and walk on the boardwalk. But if you didn't have the money, you couldn't do it. And it seems to me that the word budget is just thrown around, and every year goes by. And how many baby boomers are in here? Anybody over 65?
Oh, over 65.
Hey, look at that. Gee whiz. We don't have the money, guys, you know, and you can't keep whacking us for $1,500, $2,000 a year. It's just not fair.
Okay.
So whether we have to go to the school board or you have to cut some things, you know, pencils have sharpeners and they also have erasers. So I would say that you should sit down and figure out a balanced budget that we can live with and stop raising our taxes every year.
Thank you. I just want to point out again, we're confusing the fact that some folks, again, 4,702 people went down. Their taxes went down. And I know you don't want to hear it because it doesn't help. I know that they're not going to be on Facebook. They're not here. My point is this. We're operating the township, provides all these services to you, and you can argue whether they're good or bad. That's your opinion. We provide the police, the garbage, the this, the that, the robust recreation, and it costs to you about $21 million a year. It was the same as last year, the same as the year before that. The fact that your taxes went up doesn't mean that we got more and we should cut back on something. We can cut back. Like I said, any town can provide any level of service you wish to pay for. Some towns offer this, Ocean Township offers this level of service. And so I'm trying to impart on you folks that because your taxes went up based on the value of your home, it used to be a good thing, the value of your home went up, and I understand when the taxes go up, it's not a good thing. But really, that's what it is. You're a victim of your own home success, if you will. Your asset went up in value. I mean, it's not a bad thing except for the portion where you have to pay taxes. Like the stock goes up, you pay capital gain. It's the look you're going for. But I understand what you're saying, but you keep thinking that we're not budgeting properly. We're not budgeting properly? Okay.
You gotta come up here.
Understood. I wish I could, sir. I wish I could model the value of your home the day you want to sell it, but it doesn't work that way. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
You can come up to the
At
mic.
the microphone, one person at a time at the microphone.
Okay. I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence, except for we're still working with the same money we did last year.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more you want to change on the budget, but we can do that if you like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Lisa Gotchman, 29 Cedar Village Boulevard. My husband and I just moved into the town, so I'm wondering, my first question is, how do I get these cards that showed what the assessments were for 2015,
If
2016,
you come in,
2017?
Jacob will have that for you. And it's also, I think it's online too.
Yeah,
But
it's all on the website. Again, we've got cards up there with our website. All the information's available there in the Monmouth County Open Public Records database, going back to 2010.
All right, thank you. My second question is, again, I'm new here. How is this Lock Arbor situation, is this going to continue to affect our taxes going forward, or is this just a one-time thing that's going to affect the last 2 quarters of 2017?
Steve?
Well, the Lock Arbor issue, if they're successful, is going to be permanent. I mean, we're going to lose their $2 million, and we're going to have to pick it up as a township. All right?
So our taxes will continue to go up.
It's not that they continue to go up, it's just that the level will increase the one time, but we're paying for it, for the future.
I'm not following.
All right, the thing is that $2 million is, if Lock Arbor is successful, will always be part of our taxes.
So
Correct,
whatever increase there's been now, that will continue. For
No. Let me just, the $189 a year, if they prevail, starting 2018, $189 a year will be added to your taxes.
Which is already added.
If Lock Arbor prevails. That's what's in this quarter also.
Okay, so that will just continue on.
This payment won't, but So like I said, you're gonna level off 2018, February 1st is your next, that's your real quarterly bill. You'll see the numbers I talked about will go down dramatically, except for Lock Arbor Prevails, 189 or 49 a quarter will be added to that,
Okay.
if that helps you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Next, come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Christine Schmidt, 1106 Interlaken Avenue. Just curious, a few people came up stating that their assessments, there were errors. And you said, well, they can be appealed. What about the people that don't know that there's errors? Shouldn't everybody get the assessment?
They do.
I didn't receive an assessment.
You did in, when they go out, Steve?
This card that
so-
shows everything on here that was looked at?
Information you would have received within the last year would have been a letter from the revaluation company in November with an informal notice of your assessment. A gentleman is holding it up now. You would have received that in early November.
Right, but that's not the card that shows.
Understood. You would have then received a notice of your assessment, the full value. It was mailed out December 1st of 16. The information on the card is available on our website at all times through that Monmouth County database.
Okay.
And you are able to come into Town Hall if you'd rather do that, and we can review your card as well. I actually met with 4 people today to do just that, and I go through the whole process, all the
Okay.
information on it, and I'm happy to do that.
So
with
this
anyone.
whole page
That
would be...
whole page,
Okay.
exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And
All right.
so the version on the web leaves out the actual math, but it has all the information there.
Okay, it shows whether you have a bathroom or
Exactly.
or any of that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Hi, Mayor.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Eileen DeLito, Chepazac. This might be a stupid question, but I figured I'd ask it anyway. One of my brothers is a retired Ocean Township policeman, and he is 78 years old, and he moved to Bluffton, South Carolina, which is 20 miles from Savannah and 20 miles from Hilton Head Island. And it's a gated community. It's huge. It's meticulous. It's beautiful. He has a large home, 4 bedrooms, etc. He pays $1,000 in taxes. I know Monmouth County is one of the maybe top 10 places in the country to live, maybe because it's close to New York City, it's close to the mountains, it's on the shore. But I don't get it. I'm paying $10,000 for a little 2-bedroom ranch at Cedar Village, and he's paying $1,000 where he lives in a much bigger house, etc., etc. Is that a stupid question, or
No, but it's probably one you should bring to the State House also, because a lot of our property taxes, of course, in New Jersey,
why? Why are they?
Well, we tax you for the services here. I don't know how they do it in Carolina. I'm sure there's something else to it. Because, pardon? Yeah. They pay for everything a la carte. I presume it's a la carte.
What do you mean? Well, my brother has, as a retired Ocean Township policeman, his pension is not that
part of
great.
it.
It's not that great.
That's part of it right there.
The thing is, and his wife doesn't have a pension that I have from teaching in Ocean Township, so they have less of an income than my husband and I do. And he's a funny guy, and he says, "What are you doing up there? Come on down here." And when I do go down there and I visit people at the beach or wherever, they said, "Oh, did you turn the lights out in New Jersey?" I mean, everyone's moving to the Carolinas.
They say that. We still have that 11 million here.
I
But
know.
I understand. Listen, like I said,
I
they
love
make
it
it
in
up
this
somewhere
town.
else.
I do, but it's not like he's in the the.
But he can also, I mean, if anybody here, like I said, we talked about the property tax freeze for seniors, and that's something, if you're in a threshold right now, you can qualify for that, and something you should do. It'll roll back your taxes to probably the 2015 year if you get it in time. But that's some other information we'll put up on the website. And if you go into we have local legislative offices here in Ocean. We've had them for the last 12 years. We've always had a legislator in Ocean Township, maybe longer. And they have other programs if you don't qualify for the senior tax freeze also. So visit your legislators. They're there to help you, in that level as well.
I mean, it's a monumental problem. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
absolutely.
like
Listen,
10,000.
it's not easy sitting up here doing
No,
this.
it's mind-boggling when you hear he pays 1,000 and I'm paying 10,000.
Well, they're not paying, they're not paying in South Carolina, I don't think, any school tax through their real estate. In New Jersey, that's the system. Why that's the system, maybe that should be changed, but that's not at our level. The real estate, there's a real estate tax that pays for the schools, and the schools are I think we all recognize that the quality of our schools gives a value to this town.
Right.
But it's expensive. And but in New Jersey, the real estate tax pays for the schools. In other states, they have other ways of paying for the schools. They're paying it through something. I don't know, what it is in South Carolina, but it's certainly not the real estate tax. But we also have very high quality schools in New Jersey, which is a good thing. So they're getting their money some other way, and ultimately the individuals are paying for it. They're just not paying for it in real estate taxes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. You're welcome. Anybody else? Come on up to the microphone. Yeah.
Just Nick Donofrio, 53 Heath Avenue. Just to follow up on hers, the other, not to get off on this, but the other states don't have 200 and some school districts either.
With that.
It's all done on account. They share services. God forbid we do that here. Anyway.
655 to be exact.
I've been proud to live in this town for more than 40 years. I feel like a dinosaur up here, all these young people. I was on the Board of Education for 8 years, and I've served on several committees over the years. And it's great to see all these people here, these concerned people here, and it's great to see you being patient. I know what it's like to sit up there from being on the school board. But if you look at your tax bill and you look at what's the biggest chunk on there, it's education. Why aren't these same people at a Board of Education meeting? Board of Education meeting has about 5 or 6 people. Used to be, I don't know what it's like now, it's probably less. Yeah, I mean, we're laughing about it, but that's where it is, folks. And with all due respect to these folks from the school, that's where you need to be to try to control your taxes. Again, thank you very much for having this meeting.
No, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Right, we have the unpleasant job of collecting the taxes, so like I said, we're the low-hanging fruit other than the taxpayer, right, Jim? Sir.
Good evening. Murray Marks, 110 Runyon Avenue, Deal Park. I had a good conversation with Jacob there. He was
good.
Most cooperative and everything. I would like to state that because you don't always get that. But there was a mistake made either by the town or the county, and I'm paying for it. They've got to, why should I pay for a mistake that was not made by me in this taxation?
You shouldn't.
Well, I am.
Okay. Was the mistake something on the card, or?
The card was miscoded.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, I think an assessment was put against my house that should have been put against the house 2 doors down. They've added double the size of the house.
Oh.
And they're paying less than me. There's something wrong. It's a bit. The house is built the same time as mine.
And you're paying more? I'm sorry, you said you're paying more than them?
Yes.
Okay.
Way more.
Then, I don't know if Jacob looked at your card or you guys had the conversation. Is something
Yeah,
Tiara would
we
help him
discussed
with?
it. And,
Okay.
he said there's nothing I can do about
I would take
this.
it to the county, sir, definitely.
I already have.
Okay, good. Good luck with that. Let me know how you make out.
Thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
your time.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, folks, come on up. Somebody help these folks or bring the mic to them. That would be helpful. You can stay there, sir. We'll bring the mic to you. We're going to bring the microphone over. Here we go.
Hello, folks. I'm very pleased to be here tonight, and I think I've learned something.
But the thing that happened when, my name is Kenneth Moser, by the way, and I live at 612 Wildwood Road in West Allenhurst, and I've only lived there for 62 years.
That's it.
So I remember when my property value, when it first opened, the land value was $5,000, and now it's over $200,000.
Your value of your property was less than your tax bill.
In
That's
fact,
amazing.
I understand our mortgage was $104 a month then. So it's a lot different now. But here's what happened. When we received the estimated tax bill for the third quarter, my first reaction was it was over $2,200 more than it was last year in the third quarter, because I don't have really the full information. I realized it was estimated, and I'm used to the fact of seeing all 4 quarters listed at the same time, so I was totally confused. And I lost sleep that night. I wasn't sleeping, so around 2 o'clock in the morning Saturday, I sent an email to Mayor Siciliano, and to his credit, by 10 o'clock in the morning, he called me, and I mentioned my figures, because I had the figures written, and if you don't go on a yearly basis, it would have been 150% increase in my taxes, which is incredible. And I've been living on a fixed income since I retired in 2003. So, and living on a fixed income, it's not going up. In fact, we have to pay extra money for example, our hospitalization and other costs, so it doesn't get any better. So, in figuring this out, and I don't know what the answer is, I have to wait until I see all 4 quarters. I have no way of really figuring out what our taxes are going to be, but to see it's culture shock to see a $2,200 increase in over last year. And I also mentioned when I spoke to Mayor Siciliano that morning, this was the most unusual assessor I have ever witnessed. Remember, we all got notices that we must cooperate, otherwise we could be penalized if they're not allowed to see the property. Well, one morning, I think it was in the morning, a woman came over, and she asked, can she see the property? And we said yes. So she went around the property, I guess measuring whatever. About 10 minutes later, my wife looked out the window, and she was gone. She never came into the house. I've never seen anything like that. We don't have any changes in the house, certainly over the past 25, 30 years. But how do I know what she was looking for if she didn't ask anything? Other people have come in the house. They've come in the ground floor. At one time they said, oh, you have a basement here. No, we don't have a basement. It's flat. In that area where we live, it's a high water table, and everybody who's had the basement had witnessed flooding. So I don't have flooding in the basement because I don't have it. So those are the things that confuse me. I have no idea what this individual is looking at, and I am really concerned by the fact that somebody can make an assessment of a house and ask no question, just disappear, doesn't even say goodbye or whatever. So that's about it. I'm just waiting to what the rest of the quarters will indicate, what our taxes are going up or down or
Okay, I think I did talk to you about that. And, I'll be glad to do the numbers again for you if you like after and give you.
I would love to.
We can do that for you.
And again, thank you very much, and I think the behavior of the people were surprisingly good tonight, and that's most of it.
Very good. No, everybody's very respectful. Absolutely. Thank you. Anybody else? Yep, come on up, Mike. Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Mike Bascom. I live at 1413 Garvin Avenue, Wanamassa. One quick question on the assessment. How much weight is given to comps?
A lot.
Um,
What you'd say?
Yeah, I mean, it's a multi-pronged process. We analyze historical data, sales in the area, to determine what a general market value is. we use the cost approach to determine the value of the improvements on the property, and then the difference between the market value of a property and the improvements is going to be the land value from there. So the market value is what we're obligated to assess to. We want to be exactly at fair market value, because otherwise we're breaking the New Jersey State Constitution.
So it's heavily comped.
When you say
It's
heavily
heavily-
comped, what do you mean?
It's heavily
It's
depends
heavily
on
based on
comparable
the
sales.
compensation, the comparable houses in the area. It's a large portion of the assessment process.
At different parts of the process, comps take on different roles. Under the appeals process, it's almost entirely the comps. From what we do with the cost approach, it's one factor amongst many.
Like, because where I live, my value of my house went up over just about $100,000 and hasn't changed anything in 15 years. Okay, but I do know that there's houses in the neighborhood that are on the lake that sold for high money, and so I'm paying to that comp.
Mike, they wouldn't take your house and base it on one. It would go by size. For the ones on the lake, some of them are bigger. And of course, the lake has a lot
Right,
to
no,
do
I
with
understand, but
it. But I think they're taking Garvin, Unami, and those streets there. There are other sales in there on homes.
right.
And, I think you're getting a lot of folks pushing from Asbury into Ocean now.
They found out that's a cool little area where you're at. And that is driving up the values. So, yeah. I wish there was a fairer way to deal, because some of the folks in those hot areas like yours and the other parts of Oak Coast, the values went up dramatically quickly. West Allenhurst, Jim will tell you. I mean, it went up quick. But you get hit with it all at once. And I wish the county or state would come up with a fair way and, hey, anybody gets over a threshold of X amount, they can phase it in on a 3. I don't know. The town doesn't have the luxury of doing that. We're just distributing the weights and balances.
I guess I have two questions.
We're not taking any more money.
I guess the second question is, this is part of your pilot program for the state of New Jersey for a tax base. Is that not true?
Yeah.
So you guys are actually victims as much as we are.
Yeah, but there's a double-edged sword. The reason the EEP is good is that I mentioned there used to be a 15% payment swing. That was very unfair. A lot of folks fell into that. So typically somebody whose home was valued at $400,000 could have been assessed at $460,000, and they couldn't appeal it. So they're paying $60,000 more, $1,200 more a year, and they couldn't appeal it. It wasn't fair. Now with the AEP, what I saw the fairness in it was that if it's $400,000 and you're valued at $410,000, you can appeal that. So that's the fairness of it.
Thank you.
Cool. Anybody else? Yeah, come on up.
Mayor Council, Harry Schomburg, 45 Ranch Road. I went up like everyone else did. And the one fact that I live in a flood zone. I go out in the daytime and it rains heavily, I can't get back to my house. As I can't, my wife works, she can't get out, go to work. Sometimes the flood is that bad. I don't see any difference in my taxes. Doesn't that come in underneath or anything with the flood? I mean, the value of my house, really, like the people were saying,
It's
about
affected by that.
Absolutely.
It is, because then consequently you have a higher bill for insurance if you're gonna have that. So I think that's something.
$2,000 flood insurance.
Yeah, I think that's something absolutely the county needs to be aware of. And I would definitely go in there, go on the.
Whatever the county,
Yeah,
they can't go down with it.
Well, you know, Jacob.
No, yeah, to be clear, the county Tierra program, that feeds directly to the assessor's office. The county is just the medium through which you're getting to us to provide one centralized system, because no one town could really produce a system of the caliber that the county can. It's essentially a shared service.
I moved,
yeah.
I moved my grasses, but I got ravines in my yard.
Understood, and please do come in. We can talk about that. Take a look if you have pictures, perhaps, to take a look at your property. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I do have cards, folks. We have cards.
45 branch.
Branch Road.
Anybody else?
They'll be up there. Good luck.
Yeah. Oh, my name is Joe Welter. I'm a state certified real estate appraiser. I live at 1803 Vernon Street. next to Poplar Creek and these rises. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things in listening all this time. When someone goes to your house, people are saying, well, the appraiser went in and did this, and this, and did this. They're not appraisers. They're data gatherers. The guy who came to my house, I walked him through my house and tried to show him every bad thing that I could. I know how it works. He was a college student, nice young man. But, so to set the record straight, they're not appraisers, at least to my knowledge. Secondly, regarding comparable sales, which is a very important part of my business, I'm 35 years in this. You have to be really careful because I got my assessments, and unfortunately, I agreed with them. So I'm not here to fight to my assessments, but comparable sales, they have so many different variables out there: flood zone, location, condition, square footage, new kitchen, and on and on. There are other things that are just hard to quantify or qualify. Specifically, the lady at 1 Elm Street sold her house for way below market value because her husband just died and she's going to go move with her kids to Florida. So comparable sales are a double-edged sword as well. You try to identify it as best you can, but an appraisal is an opinion value based on objective data as of a specific date. So it's not a perfect science. But it's my understanding regarding the difference in the land and the building, you can never appeal the value of the land anyway, which is fine. I know how it gets back into. But I think one thing for everybody to understand is nobody likes the high taxes, but if you feel that your assessments, you can sell your house, it's been brought up many times, for that value, then, it is what it is. My one complaint is that we got hit real hard all at once. Yeah. Is there not a way to prorate this somehow into it? Or? I asked, and I think it's by state statute that they collect taxes. I wish there was a fairer way through the EDP that, had they known folks were going to get hit that much, they phase that in over 3 years, something, because I see it. I get a lot of calls, and Steve does, and Jacob does. Like some of these folks are very upset that they went up 100,000 in value. It's a good thing they went up in value, but the consequences the tax do. Yes, and I see that. It's a problem. I wish there was something, municipal-wise, there's nothing we can do. I wish there was something more the state or the county could come down to us. That would be great. And just to end, I would say that I don't do tax appeals in my city, my town. Otherwise, you would have come up earlier. Okay. Anybody else before we close out? I want to thank you all for coming. Yes. Yes. Anybody has any questions on your tax or on your true bill? We're going to stick around till you line up. We'll punch it up for you and give you the real number. Thank you all, guys. It was great.
Thank you. Steve.
Good night, everybody.